Welcome back to RX Muscle's Iron Road to the Olympia 2019, brought to you by Chemical Warfare. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today's guest is a special one because he is the owner of the Margolis Law Firm in Manhattan. They had contacted me after seeing the New York Post article about Hadi Choopan having a problem getting a visa into the United States. And he is a lawyer who specializes in immigration law. It's my pleasure to welcome Jeff Margolis to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, great to be here, Dave. Thank you.
Now, you contacted me because you read that New York Post article, and the bodybuilding world has been dealing for the last 2 years with the inability to get Hadi Choopan into the U.S. for the Mr. Olympia, which is essentially our Super Bowl of bodybuilding, to compete in that 212 division. He has a very real chance of winning the title this year, and yet he can't get in. What was your whole takeaway when you read that article?
Dave, it really upset me. And just for the information of viewers, if they can see this, here's the article.
Yeah.
And you had some very good quotes there too. It upset me because, the whole foundation of this country is the free flow of people in and out. And in this sport, Peter Keeney, my paralegal, was kind enough to print out some material, top 200 amateur bodybuilders and all the people participating in this year's Mr. Olympia. And about 85% of these people are from other places.
Right.
So FYI, I give lectures on immigration. I start off by saying, good morning, fellow immigrants. Because if you're not a Native American Indian, you got here somewhere. Your people did. The Mayflower, a leaky boat in 1900, a jumbo jet from Ecuador in 1976. So the fact that it's an international sport,
right,
and we're keeping some of the most talented people out of this country for no particular reason other than what you have to say is kind of a racial profiling. If you're from a Muslim country, then you're most likely a terrorist. I'm putting it in a very blunt way.
Yeah.
I think it's really unacceptable. And when I read the article, I said, let me reach out. Maybe we can be helpful.
Right. They're saying that they're potentially terrorists. Now, there's actually a couple of countries, there's a list that you had given me prior to the show of countries that basically can't come in here, it was Iran, Libya, Syria, Yemen, Somalia, North Korea, and for some reason Venezuela's on that list. We don't know why, but they're on the list as well. And people who live in these countries and are citizens there cannot come to the U.S. Now, there's always exceptions to every rule, Jeff, as we know. Hadi has been trying to get into the U.S. I don't know what the methods he's using are. I don't know if he has a lawyer. Everyone says he's trying to get into the country. We don't really know what that entails. What does a guy like Hadi Choopan, who's an elite level athlete, have to do to get into the U.S. if you were working on the case? What would you do?
Okay, thanks. Because let me take a minute just to give you the broad stroke helicopter view on immigration for bodybuilders, okay?
Great.
And immigration generally. Anyone coming to the U.S. needs a visa to enter, any foreign person, okay? There are some countries, England and about 35 others, where citizens of those countries come in without a visa. It's visa waiver, just like you can go to England or France
Right.
or Japan without a visa. Okay, so you present yourself, do you have your visa? And the visas we're talking about are typically non-immigrant. Everyone knows about a green card. That's a permanent resident case. Mm-hmm. The typical bodybuilder coming to participate comes in as a non-immigrant and most likely as a B1 business visitor. Okay, B1 business visitor, the easiest kind of visa typically to get. You can participate and you can collect prize money. Mm-hmm. We go up from there in the status of these visas. We talk about a P visa, which allows you to come in and work and collect prize money. And then the ultimate, which a guy like Hadi and Big Ramy and others qualify for, is the O1 visa. That's the extraordinary category. Okay. That's for people who have risen to the top of their profession, as these elite bodybuilders have. They come in, they get 3 years, they get a work permit, unlimited travel, unlimited work opportunities. They could be a spokesperson for a vitamin company. They can do basically whatever they want. So it's B, P like Peter, right. O, and so you need a visa, but now we're talking about someone who's not, no matter how qualified, not going to get a visa because he or she is from a travel ban country. So in talking about Hadi, certainly qualified professionally, now the block is the travel ban. And
Jeff, let me stop you for a minute. Has there ever been in the history of this country a travel ban block, like before, where we've had athletes that could not actually enter the country from a specific country?
I would say no.
So this is new. This is a new thing.
This is new. It's been implemented by the Trump administration, and the not so obvious. The obvious message is we're really limiting the open door policy here, and not just for athletes. I mean, we work with a lot of business people. Business cases should be slam dunk, and even those cases are being frustrated. So, Trump will talk about that wall along the southern border. That's a physical barrier. But we also have invisible walls, walls that are not so apparent. So we have the travel ban, but we might say with a country where there's no travel ban that they're going to make the application process so difficult that you might as well say you're not welcome here. So that's the invisible wall. But there is an option for Hadi and other people from these countries to get a visa, and maybe we should talk about that next.
Yeah, that's what I want to know, because it seems like no one knows how to get this guy into the country. This is what you specialize in. What would be your strategy to get him in? Under what law or what loophole can he come here? Right.
Well, I have in my hand, Mr. Palumbo, the research on this subject. How did I know you were going to ask? I did. Okay. There are waivers available. What's a waiver? It's where you're saying to the government, because of certain circumstances, take me out of the general rule, take me out of the prohibition, the ban, and let me in because there are some valid reasons to do so. So the waiver for the Iranian ban, 3 prongs. May I just enumerate?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. 1, undue hardship to the applicant. 2, the applicant's entry would be in the U.S. national interest. And 3, that the applicant's entry would not pose a threat to U.S. national security or public safety. 3 prongs.
Right.
So looking at a Hadi, working backwards, I mean, you might look at this guy and say, well, that's a threat, but not to national security. Okay. Then the undue hardship, that's been construed to mean undue hardship to the individual, meaning if he can't get this visa now for September 11 to 15, there's no do-over. That's a permanent hardship.
Right. Plus, he's going to lose money and he's going to lose status, from that, so.
All of those things amplified. You're absolutely right. And then that third prong, I have a little editorial, but the third prong is U.S. national interest. So you think of that as being, U.S. wide, but here it's been ruled to be against the interest of a U.S. company, for example. So we have American media. They sponsor the Mr. Olympia. Right. If a Hadi can't participate, then the program is diminished.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So that's a hardship. But if I can put down these notes for a minute, to me, the hardship, national interest hardship, is that we're no longer seen as welcoming the international sport community and all the benefit that having these diverse people here, seeing great America, and we are great, interacting with each other. I mean, not to have that opportunity is a real blow against the national interest, in my opinion.
And sports have always been separate from the politicization of what's going on. Athletes were always like that pure separation. When the Olympic Games take place, it's like everyone is friends for at least for that week or two that the Olympics are held, because we have a commonality. We have something that can connect us. Athletics are pure. Whether you're from Iran or you're from Ethiopia or you're from Russia or you're from the U.S. or Canada, we all want to see the greatest bodybuilder on stage compete. We don't care where they're from, what their skin color, what their religion. It's always been that way. And the bodybuilding industry, to me, is probably the least racist, least discriminatory industry of all time, because we base our judgments on how a person looks, although it sounds superficial, but it doesn't matter where you're from. And I think that that's what makes the sport so pure. So to see a guy like Hadi not be able to come in is saddening, because we all just want to see the best bodybuilders in the world compete.
You know, I have to second that 1,000%. And I hope that, I'm not sure, I don't represent Hadi, so I'm not sure, you know, how his case is being handled or not handled, but, you know, there's still time. So I'm hoping maybe bringing in the good influence of people like you, and we've been trying to get in touch with the Schwarzenegger community. Mm-hmm. And in fact, Hadi, I think, is scheduled to participate in Schwarzenegger. I mean, he's got his own program. And again, every athlete that's not able to participate is a diminution of the value of the program and the greatness of the sport.
Now, you mentioned to me before the show we were talking that you would be willing, if they needed your help, to facilitate this passport pro bono, which means no charge. Is that correct?
Yeah, don't tell my wife.
Don't tell my wife either.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm hoping that he's got some good people working on it. Maybe a second opinion would be helpful. Yeah. Anything we could do at this end, we'd be happy to do. You know, just, I don't want to say even, well, you know, it's interesting. Pro bono, just to give it a little edge, pro bono in the public interest. And I think helping a Hadi get here is in the public interest.
Yeah, it's in the bodybuilding public interest, that's for sure. And you know what, the interesting thing is that you have gotten other bodybuilders' visas into this country. Maybe no one, you know, and I think that's important. So you understand the process. You obviously do this for a living, and you obviously enjoy bodybuilding, because, you know, you wouldn't even be, you know, participating in this conversation if you didn't. So I think that you would have Hadi's best interest at heart here.
Thank you. Look, again, whatever, even this discussion is so helpful, because people are getting a better idea of what's going on now, and maybe there'll be a grassroots kind of a quote unquote movement.
Yeah.
To let's liberalize the rules for getting these great athletes here.
Now, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of international athletes watching this interview and saying, oh my God, I need Jeff's help. How do people get in touch with you if they need your help in terms of hiring you to facilitate visas for them, whether they be from banned countries or non-banned countries, you know?
That's very kind of you to give us that kind of support. We have the Margolis Law Firm. Our website is margolislawfirm.com, MARGOLIS lawfirm.com. I'm Jeff Margolis, and anyone who has an inquiry coming in through your program, would be happy to give them a free consult.
Oh, great. Okay, so guys, if you mention RX Muscle when you call the Margolis Law Firm or contact them, you will get a free consult, and they can at least let you know if they can help you in some way or another. Jeff, I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule and you know, trying to help facilitate this, because I really think if we can get Hadi there, then into this country, then anything is possible, it seems, in life.
Well, Dave, you're great in giving your voice and your forum here, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
All right, guys, and that's going to take us to the end of another episode of RX Muscle's Iron Road to the Olympia 2019, brought to you by Chemical Warfare. I'm Dave Palumbo. We'll see you next time.